Hello, today we are going to draw a Mickey Mouse waffle. I am just starting in with a really light shape of a Mickey head. I just went online and I Googled Mickey Mouse waffle and I got a whole bunch of images. So I'm just going in and I'm kind of sussing out the general shape of my Mickey waffle. I'm using what am I using? I am using a Faber watercolor pencil in burnt sienna to start my edge with. And this is a perfect starting waffle color. I'm gonna draw him face on, so I'm not worrying about any extra edges at the moment. So once I kind of get in the general shape where I want everything to be, I am coming in and I'm darkening the edges a little bit. We're going to come in with water. All of this will move with water, so it won't matter too much, these extra lines. So he has indents in the ears. The face goes out. And a Mickey waffle is like any other face. You can have that center line down the center. You're gonna have the line right here. I'm gonna actually have my eyes sitting on the line instead of below, but it's the same idea as a regular face drawing. So here I am just darkening those edges. He has these, I'm not sure what this is called. It's normally like, I think it's black with Mickey. It's like his face mask. That can't be right. Anyways, it's an indent in the waffle, so we're gonna go ahead and we are gonna draw it. It gives us our Mickey shape. And then he has two big eyes right here that sit right on this line, and they're pretty close together. A little bit of space in between, but not too much space. I'm not liking that shape, and I have artistic license, so I am going to widen these eyes. And again, this is a watercolor pencil. These lines are going to move with water. We want them to move with water. And inside he has these smaller pupils. Okay, and he has a cute nose right here, his Mickey Mouse nose. Start light, get the shape in, get a little darker inside the nose. So then he has this cute smile. That comes down round. And here our indent has like a rounded, thicker spot. And that's where we're going to insert his little tongue. And there are a few different Mickey waffles. I Googled the Mickey waffle that they serve at Disney. I went to Disneyland recently. I ate a Mickey waffle, so I had some pictures. I actually didn't take one straight on, so I ended up still needing to look online, but that's okay. I'm gonna enlarge these ear spots. I feel like they need to be bigger. You know, so right now is a great time to come in and make any changes you see. And we want this dark edge. For some reason, the way the waffles work is waffles have a nice dark edge. And I'm gonna come in and I'm looking at my picture and I see some dark spots in the different crevices or indents. I'm gonna add some extra color in there. You don't need to be too perfect with this. This is totally gonna move with the brush. You won't see these strokes in a little bit. But I just want to note to myself and get some color down. This nose part is pretty dark all the way around. He's dark up here. Okay. Let's see, and I think his tongue is not centered. So we are going to just center that tongue a little bit better. There we go. Okay, a decent Mickey. And I'm just gonna come in and I'm going to move all of this with my paintbrush and blend it out. All right, that's nice and dry. I'm taking some Schminke Golden Brown. I'm looking at my drawing and I'm starting to add in wherever my color goes, making sure I try to leave some white or lighter areas. Where I definitely want the darkest is going to be in these caverns. And we're gonna glaze a few times. You don't need to worry too much. It takes a little while to get kind of the exact right color. Okay, that's pretty dry. I'm gonna come back in with a darker brown now, and I'm really looking at my picture, and I'm gonna look at where my darkest spots are. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and dry that and be back again. Okay, he's nice and dry, and I'm coming back in with, I think this is Daniel Smith's Aussie Red Gold. Really, I'm just trying to give him that golden, I've just been cooked and I'm delicious and there's so much butter in me look. And I'm just really lightly coming in. Making sure I still leave some of those whites and the highlights in here. When the paper shows through, I like to call it sparkle. I don't know if that's a technical term or not. I got it from a lovely teacher years ago. Okay, let's see. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and let that dry and be back in with yet another. He was feeling a little flat to me, so I'm coming back in with that original golden color. I'm gonna deepen some of those areas that I see. Because waffles aren't really flat in color. They've got lots of ridges and edges to them. You can leave your edges hard in some spots, soften them in others. What I'm really trying to do is just give him a sense of depth. I'm looking at my picture and I'm just saying, okay, where are my dark spots? But trying not to overdo it. I'm going to take some of that dark, just find a couple more. I'm going to deepen a couple spots. Really right here in these corners, there's some darker. You can kind of work back and forth and just add layers until you feel like your Mickey is right. Just make sure in between your layers you're letting them dry. And like I said, I like to have some of mine soft, but I'm going to go ahead and leave some of my lines hard. I think the look is pretty. Okay, I've waited some extra time and I've made sure that my Mickey is nice and dry. Coming in with a darker colored pencil, a darker brown. This is Faber-Castell's Burnt Umber. And I am just defining some of those lines. Now, I don't want to do a full every single spot. See how I'm just doing some where I find the darkest, sharpest areas are. When you leave it kind of sketchy and imperfect, your mind will fill in the other bits. So that's what I'm doing. We're just really highlighting those super dark spots, making some edges hard while leaving some edges soft. And this is a watercolor pencil, so we're gonna come in and blend this out. Now, if you didn't have watercolor pencils, you could just take a tiny brush, the smallest one you've got, and come in here with a dark, dark brown and just do this with watercolor. I think it's easier with pencils, but work with what you've got on hand. Always say don't buy anything, you know. Don't buy anything unless you think you super love it. You don't need to. You can make do with what you've got. I say that, and I just love buying art supplies. Don't worry too much about leaving pencil marks. I'm gonna come back in here with water and smooth them out. Just really trying to find those darkest spots in the photograph. Okay. And take just water, just light, and smooth some of those marks out. So we're not really trying to get rid of our marks. Completely just blend them a little bit. Okay, and I realized I didn't do any edge. And for some reason, waffles always end up with this uneven, dark bits. I don't know. That's just how they cook. So I'm gonna come in here and really darken a few spots. Now, if you wanted, you could skip this next step, go straight to highlights, and then be done. But I think it looks more like food and more like a three-dimensional object when you add a shadow. So I'm coming around. This color is Daniel Smith's Shadow Violet, and what I'm most interested in is this edge right up against my Mickey. Let's see, you'd have a little shadow here, I think. And I'm going to come through and I'm going to try and fix it. Get it right up against here. Smooth it out. Didn't like this mark, so I'm going to smooth that. Try not to run your hand through your paint. And I left a hard edge, but on this first one, I'm going to go through and I'm going to soften. So I'm taking a clean brush. Got a lot of water on it, and I'm just softening that edge. The sooner you do it, the easier this will move. I like to wait a little bit of time to let it set just a little. I'm just tightening this edge. So I want this to look like a nice blended shadow. The idea is the darkest part is going to be up against your Mickey. For me, the light source is coming from this direction, so the shadow is falling here and here. Now we need to wait for that to completely dry. We're going to go in and do that a second time. In the meantime, I am taking a white paint pen, and you don't have to do this. I think that the highlights look great with the acrylic ink, but not everybody likes that. This is a extra fine point Sharpie white paint pen. I don't believe these are available anymore, but Posca makes one, Jane Davenport makes one. There's a few in the market. You just want to make sure that it's acrylic. And I'm coming in here and just adding highlights wherever I see them. Some of these highlights I'm blending out a little bit with my finger. Some of them I'm leaving sharp. It's wherever. Looking in here, there's some in his eyes. And some of this I've already left white, so I don't need to add an extra highlight. If you're really good, you can mask these out in the beginning. You could plan ahead, use your jelly pen. I kind of like the layered effect. Okay. In the meantime, nope, not quite dry yet. It still feels cool. I'm gonna give it one more minute and then come back in and do our. Taking this shadow violet again, I'm getting dark and close. Now, our final step, and some people love this, some people don't. You can flick watercolor, or you can take, and I pulled I love this color. It's a Museum Aquarelle Caran D'ache in burnt ochre. So I'm going to take a very wet paintbrush. I'm just going to flick. I want a bunch of flicks on my Mickey. So I'm going to get close and get darker. And then I just want a few here and there. The wetter it is, the bigger. You can even kind of go like this, make some different shape marks. Okay, if you end up with some big ones you don't like, you just blend them out. Say, I don't think I want them. Certainly don't want them my side page. Draw something else over there. Just while you first done them, just come back in, wet it. Sometimes I get a little overexcited with my flicks. Sometimes I don't want any flicks on my paper. So I'll do this and then I'll just come through and clean that up. But I think I don't like these sideways ones right there. It's a little harder because I want to keep the ones around it. But clean up as needed. There you go. There is my fabulous Mickey waffle. I might do a little journaling on this to finish up my page, but I'm super, super happy with him. I hope you love drawing and painting with me too, and have a happy arting.